Hey Cancer, I wanted to do something a bit different for this sort of winter solstice reading. So I brought out my decks that I use for personal readings. They are by an Australian Aboriginal healer named Mel Brown. I'm waiting for a fourth deck to arrive. I've had these for months. I love them. This bead motif reminds me of much of the artwork, the artisanship where I live in Manitoba, Canada, on Anishinaabe land, where beadwork is very common isn't the right word, but it's a huge way of expression because it was what was available. You know, it was developed culturally as opposed to other forms of artwork, yeah, and craftsmanship. So I got these because I have African oracle decks. I have I work for Kali. I realize that's an Indian deity, but she's actually visited me in my home. I've worked with the Orishas and the Black Doves, the Sibyl's Oraculum. The actual Delphi oracles were always African prophetesses. I come from Christian background, and I still love my Jesus, my Yeshua, and I have something of an adoptive mother who is Muslim, and it's been, I've dug into everything. And I'm widely researched on almost all. There is so much though, but I've been gathering up female wisdom, divine female wisdom, and that's why I have these, and I needed to talk about it for a minute. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull a card from each of these decks. Not pull one, we'll let one fly. Sometimes more than one flies. If a lot fly, then we take them, but we'll get another one just to read from, because otherwise it's too much reading. This one in particular deals with past, present, and future energies, so whichever one comes out will tell us whether we're dealing with past, present, or future issues. And these cards come from, they are dream messages to Mel from her ancestors, her guides. And this will deal, of course, with the chakras, with the parts of the body that need attention. I'll get those cards laid out. Oh, I've got one still standing up from Leo, emotional exhaustion. I left one out for Sagittarius. I left Sagittarius' cards up as well. So the fire energy has been left behind. So if it means anything to you, Cancer, this emotional exhaustion, since it's still up, I'll slide it in the deck. And then we'll, of course, get into tarot. This will not be too long of a reading. I will not drag it out. It's dangerous to drag out the intro, I realize, but important. So let's find out, Cancer, what part of the body needs attention. More green. It's been green all around for just about everybody. Green chakra goddess. Heart energy. Okay. Okay. Are we dealing with past, present, or future? They want to pop. Okay, 2 greens. I've had cherry ballard once earlier in these readings for somebody, and the spiny headed mat rush. So courage and rebirth. All more green energy, and this means past energy. We are dealing with past wounds issues. Okay. And then let's get a dream story. They want to send what? Okay. Easy. Easy. Inner grief. Oh. Okay. I'm going to actually put that there, and I'm going to put the rose quartz right on. Right on. Get some heart healing. Okay. Let's put it right there. Let's put it right there, and let's rose quartz for the heart. Let's breathe some air into these cards. Let's pause to look after the cat for a moment. Okay. Let's see what we can do for, okay, some sideways energy. 8 of Cups. Okay. To go or not to go? To go or not to go? Guidance, so Pisces energy, which is in your water story, Cancer. It's your kin. So there is, of course, guidance here from beyond. But guidance either way. If you go, if you return, more sideways. An opportunity. An opportunity. And green energy. I mean, I realize Pentacles energy, but okay. So, suspended divine timing. Interesting, eh? I've never had so much sideways energy all in a row. It's always interesting when major arcana come out sideways. I stick with sideways. It's a thing that they led me into. I didn't know that I would end up using cards sideways, but it's just cross energy, right? And if it comes out already crossing, then I already know. Something something needing to be known. I don't know if this is actually about something needing to be known or if it's a state of being. I mean, you have moon energy. This is, you know, if you've got deep guidance, right, then you are already highly developed in your High Priestess moon energy. And we're torn over something that's earthly. And it looks like I don't see anybody else. Well, oh, why do I say it and then it comes out? Okay. So this could be you. This could be you. Got a king looking up at a goddess. I'll get one more card. Because, of course, High Priestess energy, you could be masculine, feminine, they, Hermit. So, now masculine thinking. I tend to think of the Hermit sort of possibly at times lacking in need of the High Priestess wisdom. I realize he has the star there to follow, the light. It's the magician, and we can all be magicians, yes. But the ongoing interesting differences between High Priestess energy, and I see her as Empress. She is, if you look at even in the problematic Book of Revelations, the Great Mother is described at both having the moon at her feet and 12 stars in her crown. So I just see the Empress being High Priestess energy, manifesting and doing the amazing things of, you know, creating actual life. And we know what credit women get for that. I see her as justice. I see her even as strength. I see her as the star as well. Like a star is like an echo of her, an earthly echo of her, a younger version. But not even necessarily a version, but a mirror image, I would say, that's, or a compliment too. But I digress. The difference in that energy that generates manifestations in a different way from magician energy. They're both conjure things. They both, and I mean that in the best possible sense, in the good ways. I mean, obviously, no, I really don't think High Priestess, I can't credit anybody bad with being in High Priestess energy, as in a good High Priestess versus a bad High Priestess. Magician is a bit different. Although I guess if the High Priestess card comes out in reverse, it's as much an indicator if the Magician card or the Hermit card comes out in reverse. But again, these energies are not the same energy. I feel like one more and then I'll... Okay, 5 of Pentacles, out in the cold. Leading back to the 4 of Pentacles. Not having a plan. More green energy. So healing, yes, when you have the nun comforting the wounded person with the bandage in her head, that's bandage around his head, that's, you know, he's in his head, he's in his thoughts, he's in his grief, he's in his struggles, and there's compassion there, and it's change, it's going through change, necessary change, because there's not really any way of getting around the 5. There's only one way to get to 6, which is the gift from the universe. It can be an attack. Now we have it in reverse, so it's leading back to 4, but we're working our way backwards. We could also say that. So the question is backwards or forwards with this 8. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it feels like possibly... See, I've got High Priestess with her head towards Virgo, with the Hermit, feet towards the King of Cups. So maybe more inclined towards going alone. The Cups are leading that way. Well, okay. I'm still recording. Yes, we are, Cancer. Let's get into all this green energy. All this heart. Green chakra goddess. The green chakra goddess represents your heart, which is located in the chest area. Yes. The green chakra goddess teaches us the principles of balance, love, and self-control. She is generous with her love, yet is able to balance her romantic side with the understanding and compassion of unconditional love. The green chakra goddess connection to nature is part of the balance that she requires to self-nurture and find her own self-love. When she's disconnected from the energies of Earth, she becomes unsettled and flighty, which affects the way in which she manages her daily life. Let me just pause here. This sideways pentacle seems to me suddenly that connection to Earth. And we have this 5, this needing to go back to 4 of pentacles. That's security. It can be guardedness, yes. I mean, it's a pause button. But out in the cold, okay, yep. And so, therefore, uncertain, especially intuitively. Okay, grounded, you need to get grounded. It's time you reconnected to the energies that nature so willingly shares with us. Lately you felt the feelings of discontent and have begun to notice the subtle changes in your behavior, and in some instances not so subtle. Something has changed for you, and the time you once spent connecting with nature is no longer available to you. No kidding. COVID. It's time to take a breath and to take a break. Go outside, touch the ground, and take a few deep breaths to reconnect to the vitality she has to offer you. Allow the energies of Mother Earth to recharge your batteries as she shares herself with you. You will be amazed at how quickly you will feel refreshed and recharged by taking these simple steps. This is a gentle reminder, gentle, of how important your connection to nature is and how easy it is to find strength from Mother Earth. She has been coming through so strong in several readings, Scorpio in particular, so definitely connected to your energy. There's a Mother Earth card, an Earth Mother card that came out. Now, in terms of, that came out in the Dreamtime Oracle for Scorpio, and it came out for somebody else as well. So I would say the fact that she's even at the bottom here, there's a disconnect. So this is connected to this, is connected to this. What? I'm saying the obvious, but okay, let's move on to courage. Courage. And remember, it's past energy, so it might be courage that it will read as if it's in the present, but it could be a past situation. Cherry Ballard medicine brings courage and hope to those who are optimistic. Positivity is not always welcomed by others, particularly if they themselves are hurting. For some, the sheer sense of hope only highlights the fact they're in despair and further exasperates the situation, adding to their feelings of hopelessness. When you express your hopefulness, others may be too scared to feel the same way. While enthusiasm can be contagious, it can sometimes be destructive, particularly for those who are not in the same position and are fearful of being hurt even more if the promises of sunshine and rainbows don't come to fruition. And of course, that depends on who's making the mistake of interpreting or who's making the mistake of communicating. The mistake might fall on one side, not the other. Optimism from others was gravely lacking. The hope you tried to generate only increased the fear in others and highlighted the fact that the situation... So what you can do is you can take your own advice and you go for something. You go for something even if you're alone in it, because it's the right thing to do. It's the way to heal yourself. Rebirth. Yes, I forgot what I was going to read next was rebirth. And that was... This is maybe already happened. If we're at the Eight of Cups, we've come through Seven of Cups, which is a rebirth. It's a transformation into becoming your true spiritual self for all to see. Your true psychic self for all to see. This could be, again, if this is you, this could all be you. It might not be somebody else. And this is a progression into the past, like we're looking back into the past. We're looking back into the past to find the future. Spiny-headed. Mat rush. Spiny-headed mat rush medicine allows you to understand and better comprehend the complexity of the situation. Sometimes we make things so difficult to manage that to manage the situation becomes insurmountable. Well, that's exactly what that was talking about. Often this is an excuse for us not to undertake the challenging work and search for the answers that might require us to change our behavior or beliefs. Change isn't easy and means leaving old ways behind to adopt new ways. Changing our ways can bring with it opportunity or just simply healing, but whatever the change is, know that it brings you closer to your recovery. The past situation kept you stuck in that moment of time, reliving the trauma to such a point that it was emotionally debilitating. Your fear of facing the future was unwarranted and is the reason you're holding yourself back. Well, this is holding back to consider, for sure. When you face your fears, you will quickly realize how much precious time you've wasted fearing the future. The way ahead is bright and wonderful. You need only put your fear aside and claim this future that's awaiting you. So much of that fear is other people. So much of that fear is other people and what they will say and how long it will take to be successful. The fear of how long and how much it's going to cost, what it's going to take. Let's get to that Dreamtime Oracle. Get to the heart of it. 36. Maybe it's the heart of it. Maybe it's really part of it. These are the times of sadness and loss, where simply the color of our skin determines our future. The mother watches intently as her children play close to the humpy, where she can see them, but for a few moments she's distracted. After that short time when her attention is returned to the children, she notices a plume of dust and then a black car driving up the dirt road, which quickly pulls up close to her children. I'm sorry if this is triggering. As she screams at the children to run, she knows in her heart they do not have enough time to get away. She is hysterical as she begs the welfare people not to take her brown-skinned babies, but they do. She collapses to the ground where she will stay until her children are returned to her. Over the years, the mother's black hair turns gray, and years of weather chisels her features. Yet she maintains her watch, never venturing far from this spot, and never seeing her children again. I just need to say I had many years of fighting with lawyers and judges and welfare, social services over my child. So if you are triggered, I'm sorry, and we are triggered together. But go into the trigger. I work a lot with, I have worked a lot with survivors, well, victims, as they mostly like to say. Well, nobody can agree. whatever you feel resonates, victim or survivor of all kinds of childhood abuse, cult, ritual, institutional, and mothers and fathers struggling with forced adoptions. I've had my best friend's daughter murdered in retaliation from social services because my best friend is so good at fighting to stop forced adoptions. And her murdered daughter is one of the souls I work with. I work with a lot of murder victims and victims of violent death. Your heart has taken a battering, and with every breath you take, it physically hurts. You have no choices in this situation, so the only way forward is to begin your own healing journey. Learn to forgive yourself, and know that this forgiveness will begin to heal. To heal your heart and your self-esteem will slowly begin to build. It will be a slow process, but day by day you will get through this, and you will look back in a few weeks and recognize the massive journey you have undertaken. If this is as accurate and on point for whoever will one day watch this, who needs to watch it, I am so sorry. And if there's anything I can do to help, including fighting the system with you, let me know. I'm experienced with cases in the UK, US, Canada, a bit in Australia. There's really no choice, just like they say. I was just talking about this with another woman in the UK that I work with to advocate for a woman named Tony Lovell. The Met Police have been trying to hand her somebody else's body for 6 years instead of her son's actual body. Huge levels of corruption and cover-ups there. And this other supporter of her had her children forced partly into the care of their abusive other parent. And all she can do is force herself to stay focused on what positives she can create and pursue and develop. And that's the same as what I had to do. I know this won't be true for all cancers watching. So whoever you are, I don't know that this story will repeat in other readings, but and perhaps you were the child who was taken. You know, these things can always work in many ways. Perhaps you were involved in some such situation to any degree. But this perseverance then, this ace, is a huge one. It's a huge one. And you see that womb? That's the rebirth. We are caught in... I do not see this as a good universe. My God has to hack the system. And Kali, who I work for, has appeared to me in my home. The demon eater, she is the protector of children. And we have to do very hard. She appears terrifying. She scared me so badly when she appeared. I thought she was a demon. But in order to countenance the demons, she has to be scary, you know. She can be beautiful and sweet and kind looking. She can take on any appearance she wants. But demons are, and I'm speaking of human demons as much as any spiritual demons, but human demons are horrific. The mafias are horrific. And that's what she's up against. So, we have to force, as best we can, to be that force of good. And philosophically or spiritually, you might disagree with me on some of the finer points here, and you might think that ultimately the universe is benevolent, is good, and I don't want to pick a fight about that. Whatever we can do together to support. Much love.